Hello again, Halloweenaholics and mask collectors and other interesting people. It's time once again for Creepy Cheapies with Dr. Lady. I'm Ashba Versusba, and today's mask, well, I have kind of a different warning about today's mask. You know, sometimes I tell you, oh, the way they cut the eyes out could be better, or the hair could be better, or something like that. Well, I have a very different sort of caveat about today's mask, which is to say I highly recommend this one for Halloween, for the haunted house, for the yard haunt, for Halloween parties, conventions, that kind of thing. But I don't really recommend it for your mask collection. Why would I say such a thing? Well, I don't think it's going to last forever because of the production design. What I view as bad choices in the design, in the manufacturing process, you see. Now, this mask was designed by a human called DJ Ashba. Okay, do you know who that is? You don't. Well, you probably should. He's best known as a guitarist with a number of very well-known bands. He's worked with Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue, and of course 6 AM and a Drowning Pool. And anyway, very talented guy. He is also a graphic designer and a visual artist who has designed a number of things, including in 2016 or so, a couple of Halloween masks which were put into production by Ruby's Costumes. One of which is this awesome looking little character called Scarecrow. Scarecrow. Okay, you get it? It's kind of like Scarecrow, but it's Scar. So it's S-C-A-R, and then instead of all one word there, or an E in the center, like you would normally think. No, it's got a little dash in it. It's hyphenated. And it's very hot in here today, so stay hyphenated, kids. Really. But look at how cool Scar-Crow is. This is such a great design. I love the fact that he looks like some creepy little voodoo doll head that has somehow been enlarged and blown up to, you know, approximately human head size. All right? And I love the fact that his eyes are giant, oversized, humongous plastic buttons. Well, actually, they're just sculpted in rubber. They just look like plastic, you see. I love the fact that his hat is all stitched and battered and made to look like bent and broken and messed up. I love it that he has straw sticking out that looks, you know, like the equivalent of hair. I love it that he has actual string going on here and his big jaggedy smile. Love the way that it's done at the bottom, the ruffled, beat up, dusty sort of look. And you know, I love everything about it, but the reason I worry about this this young lad is because, and if you look at the picture in the Ruby's website or the Ruby's catalog or wherever, you'll see what it was meant to look like. The reason I don't think he's going to last forever is a brief latex preservation lesson here. The worst thing you could do to latex is to stress it. And I don't mean read it what's in the news today. I mean stress it by keeping it for a prolonged time in some position other than the position in which it came out of the mold. So if you have a mask with a long bib in the front and you put it on a short headstand and that bib goes out onto the shelf, it's going to crack eventually and it's going to deteriorate there faster than it would if the mask was in its normal position. So one thing all mask collectors probably pretty much know by now is you want to avoid having a mask kept smashed or scrunched or bent up out of shape. You want to keep it displayed in the original shape in which it was molded. And that's where we run into trouble with Scarecrow, because I kind of feel bad for DJ Ashba too. I don't know him, but I already feel bad for him because this seems like something that would happen to me if I designed masks for Rubies, because, you know, this was designed clearly to be a really deluxe, you know, highfalutin, fancy schmancy sort of mask. And they thought, oh yeah, oh boy, the hat is going to be a separate piece, not just sculpted in, but a separate piece glued on and painted with all the stitches painted in. The straw, is that not sculpted and molded in? It's actual raffia run around the back of his head. and sticks out realistically like straw. And oh my, the mouth is actually going to have real string instead of just sculpted string holding his mouth shut. He's got actual string in there. But then when it went through the production facilities and came off the production line, it was sort of disappointing because the string is so tight it's holding everything scrunched. And the reason I guess that is instead of just making a couple of slits for breathing in between here, they cut the whole mouth out and leave his mouth hanging, okay, which is already, it wants to hang a little bit more than the way it was sculpted. And then they put the strings in and pull it up, and then they're stressing it back the other way, so it's got places that are sort of not right as far as being with the way it was sculpted. And they put, it is a pretty deluxe mask. It's actually got black mesh fabric netting, you know, like in the Scream masks and such. It's got that glued in behind the eye holes, which of course the eye holes consist of 4 little holes in each of the buttons, and behind the mouth so you can wear it. But I would have chosen to just make a couple of small cuts in that big mouth instead of having the whole mouth open like they did, because that makes him want to sag, and it's really hard to you know, get him in his proper shape. Now it can be done, because I have here, for your viewing pleasure, for your education and information and edification and consternation and across the nation, and I don't know where I'm going with that, whatever. I have another one here, okay, which has been extensively reworked, and he looks rather the same, but you'll notice the mouth. This one, we have taken the original strings out of the mouth and allowed it to hang open like it was sculpted, which I think is what he wants. And there's a little bit of stuffing. I just stuffed some wadded up paper bags in the hat to make it stand out in shape a little bit better. This guy, though, I fear that he's not going to last forever in your collection, and he's going to have a short shelf life, because I fear that whatever you stuff him with, whether it's wadded up newspaper or wadded up grocery bags or wadded up third thing that you have to go back into the past to get, whatever you stuff him with, the fact that he's got his mouth scrunched and the strings holding it funny, and then this thing kind of wonky the way it's stuck on there. Some of the copies, the hats have been stuck on sort of carelessly, resulting in the rubber of the mask, that is the actual head, being kind of crimped and smushed up inside. Well, this one has had that undone and redone, and my lovely and charming wife Laura redid the glue application and re-glued his raffia hair here. And as you can see, let's shop and compare once again. All right, let's do the order of death. This is what you want, this is what you get. This is what you want, this is what you get. Come on, you know what I'm talking about, sure you do. As you can see, now the string that is in the one that's been modified is darker, because that's ineptitude on my part, okay? I painted the string, and I thought it would be as light as their string, but it actually dried just a tad darker, but that's you know, that's not that important to the overall plot here, I don't think. But anyway, what a fantastic mask. And here's one thing I love about him, design-wise, is he looks what's the word I'm looking for? He looks sort of non-committal when it comes to expression, and yet he's got character. By which I mean, and this is very rare, most masks look just plain scary, or they look just plain silly and funny. This guy could go either way depending on the performance of the actor wearing it, by which I mean you could be really creepy and be somebody's worst nightmare and act like something from a creepypasta in this mask and really scare people. Or you could also be completely harmless and silly and clownish and not scary at all, because it could go either way with the design of the mask. Could be really evil and ferocious and waiting to impale you with a pitchfork, and could also be completely lighthearted and whimsical and funny. depending on your audience. And I appreciate that sort of thing because I've been in events and situations where I was in costume and I kind of had to tailor it a little bit for the crowd. And you know, when you see older kids and adults and humans like that coming, you maybe will go ahead and be more scary and act more evil and creepy. But when you see small children and they're already afraid, maybe you want to be more funny and just be you know, silly with them and don't really scare them too badly. So you can tailor the performance with this guy and kind of build your own personality for him when you're playing him. Likewise, you can decide exactly what kind of costume he wears and you know what sort of props or accessories he might have and all that. So basically this mask just kicks apples all over the orchard, I think. And the only problem with it is that I worry that due to the way the rubber is sort of scrunched up by the strings and the hat and everything, I worry that he may not have a very long shelf life and he may not be something that will last you your whole life. And he may not be around forever, okay? So, okay, they're telling me that the human beings that you know in your life also will be around forever. And yeah, so I guess he's got us there.